During the May the 13th Twitch VOD, where Steele, Joshua, and Nissan reviewed a demo of Counter Logic Gaming, Finesse took part in skirting responsibility and accountability for his mistakes, and when it was pointed out later in the ESEA forums, historically a place where people pointed shit out, Finesse came and stated, I'd actually love to have a real discussion about what was said in this video, but it would be easier with just one of you. If someone actually has any confidence in anything they've typed here, try to elaborate and give examples when anyone made excuses. We've accepted our mistakes and we always will. Sorry, this Thorin impersonation I was really laughing at. He then also stated, I would actually pay to have a real conversation with any of you in Mumble about Counter-Strike in this video. I enjoy making people look stupid. Right? I'd actually even do it on stream. Message me from Mumble info. Okay, so I saw that, right? Then I actually messaged Finesse. I messaged him. I sent him a message saying, message me Mumble info. This is at 5:42 p.m., May 13th. Okay. The next day almost, I created a topic that you might have read on these ESEA forums, calling him out, right? So the whole time he basically absently avoided me, avoided taking responsibility for him saying, I will have a conversation, come into the Mumble, I will shit on anybody who comes in, I enjoy making people look stupid. He put out that challenge, and then he avoided that challenge, okay? And then when he did take on that challenge, he wanted to make very certain that, basically what he said was, he didn't want it to become a spectacle. I thought they were taking bad PR, because they did look kind of ridiculous, they still do, and that he just wanted to minimize the public relations hit that he was taking, which I respected. So I said, you know what, I'm still interested in talking to you about this, about your behavior and your attitude psychologically and everything. So how about we just go into Mumble, since you said you'd do this. Okay, what if we just go into Mumble privately? So one of his stream people had a Mumble, and I went into that Mumble with him, and we had a 1v1 conversation. People still didn't record it, I didn't. Basically, afterwards, he said, okay, you know, I gotta go, I'll talk to you later, man, and then he just completely acted like a complete squid and a piece of shit since I'm making this video, where basically I'm just going to go ahead and say the things that I told Finesse to his face. Alright, so, basically, historically, in that video, right, I went to Finesse and I said, okay, in the 22nd minute of the video, you say, they walked into us with a pop flash and we didn't hit the shots. We were literally waiting for them to do exactly that. We want them to pop flash an A main, and we still got caught off guard by it. That has nothing to do with the setup we're running. That's just bad. You can criticize anyone when a setup goes wrong, but they were out of position. So basically, you can criticize anyone when a setup goes wrong. What is he saying? He's saying, well, we can blame the setup on anybody, right? Not just me. We didn't hit the shots. What is he saying? Not my fault. We're set up perfectly. We just didn't hit the shots. We didn't aim well. Alright, so basically, he gets shit for not taking responsibility in the Steele video, and those were his exact words that I just said in the Steele video, the 22nd minute mark. Steele, basically, the reason why he was saying this, because Steele was saying, hey, you know, what's going on in this video? It's a crucial gun round. They first bought, they have guns, they're not getting gimmickly, like, pushed. There was a round before that where they had guns, and they did. Steele's like, you guys have 30 seconds before this round is over, and no one is in position to do anything useful. And Finesse just shrugs off accountability for his strat, saying, you know, it's just a disagreement in T-side strategical ideologies. You know, Steele wants to take mid-control, and he wants to actually take control of map areas and get in position to do stuff, you know, as part of their default, right? So, basically, Finesse is saying, you know, my strat isn't centered around taking map control and gathering information. Basically, his whole, the beginning of his default is centered around almost baiting out CT side pushes. Not necessarily, maybe just getting ready for them, Okay, because he's not making a strat. I already talked to him about this. He's not making a strat that's completely around. They're gonna push us until they die. He's not that stupid. He just waiting for the pushes in the beginning and then working off the default. But they're still not getting that much actual map control. And what was so clear about this is earlier, where Cutler is waiting outside of Squeaky Door. So this is what we mean by when we say map control, right? So if Cutler, like anybody else who owns Squeaky Door Room T-side, like Roka, or somebody like Hiko who likes playing in there sometimes, anybody, you'll watch them. They they right-click, pop flash their way into Squeaky Door Room, right? And then they're in Squeaky Door Room. They're in the room of Squeaky Door, okay? Cutler didn't do that. He didn't get that extra map control. He waited right outside of Squeaky Door Room, and then Valens comes along, skipping around, running with an MP9, and he just flicks the fucking Cutler in there and starts spraying him down and kills him. Cutler having an AK, by the way. So basically, when Steel might say, okay, have a default where you have a little more map control, just the difference between here and here might make a 4v5 instead be a 5v4, right? But anyway, so Finesse is saying they're going to wait in A main. They're just going to have a guy waiting mid. They're going to have a guy waiting outside Squeaky, not in Squeaky. And there's going to be a guy B around Sunshine. So you're going aggressive around B and passive in Squeaky to wait for CT pushes. And this is his strategy and his concept for cash. Okay. So basically, Finesse is saying his entire strategy to side cash in the beginning is to wait for pushes, and yet when they get pushed, they lose. Meaning he strategized specifically for something, and exactly what he built his blueprint to counteract is what they failed to do. Right? His strats are completely ineffective then. It's not like Finesse is making strats to, that will aggressively take mid control, will flash mid. People will do, some smokes on the run, and, we'll boost a guy, and then, we'll decide from there what to do, and we'll have a guy waiting outside B, and a guy waiting, right outside A main and Squeaky, waiting for the pushes there, and kind of listening or something, or waiting in A main and listening to the Squeaky push. No, what they have is just everybody everywhere waiting for the CT pushes, right? But it's not like, he's deciding to take B control, but they get counter-shotted by fast flanks, or they get counter-shotted by some kind of different strategy, CT side. He's making a strat, right, to counteract something that's happening. And the thing that he's making a strat or a default to counteract is exactly what's ruining his strat. Basically, Finesse is like a boot maker who makes boots specifically for rainy days, but these boots that he makes, these rain boots, happen to have one fault and issue. They leak water and they get wet. Yeah, these boots are no good in water. These rain boots that I made. They're awesome. They look great, but just don't put them around water. Yeah. So something is wrong here, and it's not that they're getting out-aimed, right? The strategy is wrong. He's making strats specifically to do something, and failing to do the one thing that his strats are supposed to do, right? Because these two huge gun rounds where they lose, and Steele's pointing out, like, why is your default like this? Why are you guys not in position to take control of anything? Why haven't you guys moved anywhere? Why aren't you guys... It almost seems like you're not gathering any information here, like, just by what you're saying. But Finesse is basically just denying that the strategy is incompetent when he says this. He's saying, it's the execution of his individuals. He says that around the 32nd minute of the VOD. I mean, he specifically was saying, like, if there's any responsibility, then it's really just because it's unlucky. The timing was unlucky. They got pushed Squeaky and died to an MP9, and then they get pushed in A main, and they die there, and they're in a 5v3. So their entire strategy is predicated on stopping CT side pushes, but they're not stopping CT side pushes. So I could tell you where his strats probably fuck up. Yeah, waiting for pushes is fine, but me personally, I think he overstays his welcome waiting for pushes, and he never takes initiative anywhere or gets superior positioning anywhere. And they can even like start listening and gathering information. Oh yeah, here's a nade coming in from Squeaky, from fucking Forklift. This guy Forklift. They hear somebody being boosted on Shroud spot. Oh yeah, there's somebody getting boosted on Shroud right now. None of that is really happening for them. On round 9, for example, where no one trades for anyone, their spacing is way too far apart to properly trade, and Tarek just basically rogue, I guess, because he says, I'm not supposed to be the entry factor, I shouldn't be making the first engagement, extends himself past Forklift. So he just goes into sight, pushes out there, extends himself past Forklift, and dies. And what does Finesse say for that? He says, we flashed sight, and just no one got the kill. Again, saying that there's nothing wrong with the team chemistry, nothing wrong with the spacing, nothing wrong with people drilling dry runs of executes, nothing wrong with people not knowing where they're clearing first on a certain execute. If someone is going in first into the bomb site that's not supposed to be going in there first, you clearly are just improvising something, which is okay, fine, a lot of teams do that, but you clearly haven't, practiced. You don't know how far apart everyone else will be spacing-wise, so you guys can get the trade. I mean, Finesse completely dodges any responsibilities in an in-game leader for his own team's execution. He just says it wasn't executed properly. He doesn't realize, it's his responsibility for his team's execution. So if it's not executed properly, that's his fault, because he's the one supposed to be preparing them before games, before maps. So they're supposed to be executing things over and over and over again, doing things exactly right until everyone knows where everyone else is, how fast they're getting there, what everyone else is doing. Oh, there's going to be a flash here and there's going to be a flash there. So I can look here, and then when you throw that flash there, I can look there just to make sure, just to dodge it and then look back. They're not coordinated because they haven't practiced it over and over again. And an execute doesn't have to be you spawn and you just go do it. They are in a default, and they can group back together, and when he calls it, they go do it, and it's all done exactly the way it would be done in practice. Okay, that's actually how you should practice it. So he's not taking responsibility for any of that. He's not just responsible for his own decision-making as an individual, but for the decisions his team is making as a whole together. He's also responsible for their preparedness and their chemistry, because if they practiced dry runs and they were coached on communicating certain things more, these problems wouldn't arise. I mean, as an IGL, he has direct influence over the kind of influence a team has and what he's requiring of them. Okay, so he's requiring of them, he should be, for instance, hazed, going into B and seeing B main smoked off, but Mo comes over with his op and peeks the smoke, scopes into smoke. Why is that even happening? Why is Mo giving up the position that he has in mid and going over and, obviously there must be, Steele pointed this out, some kind of an error in communication, or a place where apparently these guys are not prepared or told what, Finesse didn't sit these guys down and say, alright, you guys are required to say everything you hear, everything you see. Because if they were, Hayes would go into B and flash over and try to get into Sunshine, and then there'd be smoke, and he'd be like, oh, there's smoke, B main. Or maybe he did say it, and Mo just didn't hear it. Anyway, I mean, that's a possibility. I haven't talked to Hayes about this. So, obviously, that kind of accountability isn't there. But Finesse is perfectly fine with just scapegoating Hayes, oh, Hayes didn't plant correctly, or Mo, oh, Mo did this. And no one defends their play, and they don't need to, because granted, it's awful. But the one thing you can't criticize to FNS, or to that team of Counter Logic Gaming, is Finesse's strategies and the decision-making the team makes as a whole. If the team makes a wrong decision, oh, it was unlucky, the timing. Timing got us there. Oh, it was unlucky. We ran into a stack. Who knew? They decide the one round they decide to stack. Just unlucky us, And he tries to do this where I was arguing with him, where he tries to oh yeah, you guys are just picking this one time where it went wrong, and the 9 other times. He literally said this. We've won on cash so many times. We're gods of cash. We won 9-10 times on cash. Okay, and then I looked up the stats on HLTV. Oh wait, you won 4 games, you lost 5 so far on cash. He's like, oh yeah, well we don't have a 5th. Okay, all right, another year skirting responsibility again. Yeah, okay, so it's just that you guys don't have a 5th. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought your strategy, there was something wrong there, but apparently that's fucking perfect, right? So once Finesse agrees with still criticism, but it's not of his strat, right? He never agreed, like, the strats are untouchable. You can't touch those. You can't say those are wrong. You can't say any of that team decision-making was wrong. Tarek should have lurked mid and stayed mid. He agrees that fighting on CT's side, fighting out in the open, pistol round is bad, but nothing he did as an IGL, or strategically was ever bad, right? So, I mean, even you look at it in just how they're behaving with themselves. In the 22nd minute, Cadian meekly expresses, if your overall strategy is for Mo to get picked mid, then you should, try to be steady and not get picked off as a team, so he can be the one to pick mid. And Finesse just, like, caustically just cuts him off, snaps at him. Like, it's real easy to say that after, watching the demo and seeing the round's already been lost. No fucking shit, Finesse. Really. Isn't that why this process is useful? I mean, Finesse, explains, like, Tarek's thought process and says things, so that's fine. You have Tarek repeatedly trying to justify his need to peak post-plant by saying, we want to plant and then get more map control, even though this opens them up to 4 angles as opposed to just opening themselves up to 2. Apparently, if you plant for A main, then you just have to worry about A site and the A main flank. That's 2 angles, right? And you guys are just kind of coordinating that together. That apparently is not useful. Tarek has found this buzzword map control, and he decides that he needs map control post-plant, so when they plant, he's going to push the forklift and push the highway. So now, you have all these players, and they're all spaced out where they can't get the trade, spread thin, and you have Tarek up here, and you have, like, Hazed behind quad, and Hazed can't trade for Tarek. They have somebody else actually playing, probably Cutler, because he's actually smart, probably playing it from A main, just playing the bomb, right? If he's still alive, if he didn't just get fucking traded out first, because he's the entry fragger on that team, apparently. So you have somebody like Finesse sitting there, holding or Mo, who misses whiffs like 20 op shots, like playing the plant, and Tarek's out there by highway getting map control post plant. So now you have to worry about highway, or at least Tarek does, truck, the B main flank. Those are 3 angles instead of just 2, instead of just 2 simple angles. Unnecessary risks. Tarek keeps putting himself in these positions, and that's fine, because if you ever talk to Tarek about this, I don't want to talk about it. He'll invite girls to the mumble, and he'll start 10-manning or pugging. He just doesn't. He'll just put his head in the sand like an ostrich, like a Turkish ostrich. I mean, ultimately though, about Finesse, because he's the one who issued this challenge, to accept his excuses is to say that individuals just didn't aim well enough. He says, we just didn't hit the shots. They didn't execute well enough. But he's not responsible for how they execute, for their preparedness, right? Somehow they just fall ass backwards and win 5 T-side rounds on cash. So it's not his team's lack of information gathering, not his team's lack of mid-control, not that they're not communicating what they're seeing and hearing, not his team's lack of taking initiative together when they do have control of a map area like A main. Not his team's decisiveness or their indecisiveness. They don't, they're just spread around and nobody's just like yelling, all right, we're going to fall back into our B side execute and execute B, let's go. There's none of this general T-side ideology on Cash's issue. The issues with the individuals, not with his strategies. His position as IGL is infallible. He is God. He is like Kim Jong-un, apparently. It's the people executing it that need changing. And this is all that he really feels, and this is the issue really with CLG. This is the issue with Finesse saying that he doesn't take accountability or responsibility for his actions, and that's what I said to him in the mumble. And I don't know what he would want to say now, but I know what he did say after I said that was that he actually changed things around, which is good. Okay, you're changing things around so that you're having a different default. But at the same time, there's obvious communication and decisiveness and like initiative errors. There's obvious errors where I don't think they're dry running strats enough either. But that's all I said to him in the mumble, and that's all we went over. That's it. So yeah, he did make excuses. He didn't take accountability for his actions.